I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, today we are reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. Let's focus on verses 1 through 5. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say to it, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you. I will stretch out my hand against you, and make you most desolate. I shall lay your cities waste, and you shall be desolate. And then you shall know that I am the Lord, because I have had an ancient hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the power of the sword at the time of their calamity, when their iniquity came to an end. So when nations find themselves in difficult situations, the enemies of those nations always take advantage of them. It'll be very interesting, by the way, to know who America's allies will be within 5 years, let's say. Following the collapse of Jerusalem, Judah was in no position to fight its enemies to the south. Indeed, the description of things given by Jeremiah is of a land of internal violence. Edom, one of those long-standing enemies to the southeast, saw a golden opportunity to wage war. Ezekiel had already delivered a prophecy against Edom in which he warned of God's vengeance upon them for their betrayal toward Judah in her time of weakness. And so we know the betrayal is coming. Now Ezekiel expands upon the theme once again. Since the previous chapter took us to the heights of the glory of Israel's restoration, why would Ezekiel follow up with repeating a prophecy against Edom? Why tell us that again? Well, the answer seems to lie in the fact that these chapters were delivered soon after the news of Jerusalem's collapse had come to Ezekiel. See, Ezekiel was in exile. And that is to say, at the time Ezekiel was prophesying of Israel's restoration, Ezekiel received news that what he prophesied earlier about Edom was now actually coming to pass. Therefore, he was simply commenting on the word of the Lord having been fulfilled. By the way, that's the only way to prove whether or not a prophet is true. And we should note that the word Edom does not occur at all in this section of prophecy, rather Mount Seir. Well, that's the mountain region which is east of the Arabah, which is the Rift Valley running south from the Dead Sea. That is the place where the Edomites live. So today, this area lies in the kingdom of Jordan. Chapters 35 and 36 speak of a contrast between Mount Seir, the Edomites, and the mountains of Israel, that is, the Israelites. So Edom was comprised of the descendants of Esau, right, Jacob's brother. Israel comprised of the descendants of Jacob, Esau's brother. And of course, with the exceptions of Moab and Ammon, who were the descendants of Lot through incest with his daughters, well, with the exceptions of them, the Arab people were descended from Ishmael. Now, Ishmael having been the son of Abraham through Sarah's Egyptian handmaiden, Hagar. So all three of these men, Esau, Ishmael, and Jacob, descended from Abraham, as was Jesus through his mother in the flesh. After all, Jesus is God, so he really has no beginning in the deity, and yet he was born in the flesh through the line of David, through the people of Israel. There is a saying that we are all children of Abraham. Well, the idea behind that statement is that it doesn't matter what religion that you choose, that you're in right standing with God through Abraham, which is ridiculous. Ezekiel would have had issues with that statement because God distinguishes Abraham's children throughout this prophecy as being believers or not believers, as being circumcised or uncircumcised. He even divides within the people of Israel between those who are apostate and those who are the remnant. So faithful Abraham is as faithful Abraham does. What do I mean? We're not considered faithful because of somebody else's faith. Each of us must respond to God's calling as Abraham did, by faith. My main takeaway from today's chapter is that God has a standard by which the world is judged. And just because he takes his time, in our estimation, getting around to his judgment doesn't mean that God won't eventually judge. Oh, judgment is coming. The question is, where do you stand with respect to Jesus? I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people just like you. And yes, we need your monthly support. And donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. Another way to help is to tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share these podcasts with friends and family and on your social media. Of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.